Today we're going to talk about perfect square roots. So square roots are the opposite of perfect squares. It says a square root of a number is one of its two equal factors. So if 4 times 4 equals 16, so 4 is the square root of 16. So when you're taking square roots, you're looking for pairs of numbers. So if we were to make a factor tree here, 4 times 4 gives you 16, so that's why 4 is the square root. Okay, so the symbol that we're using is called a radical symbol. That symbol is used to show a number square root. The square root of 4 is 2 because 2 times 2 gives you 4. Square root of 9 is 3 because 3 times 3 gives you 9. Square root of 16 is 4 because 4 times 4 is 16. Square root of 25 is 5 because 5 times 5 gives you 25. And the square root of 100 is 10 because 10 times 10 gives you 100. So notice square roots, perfect squares, are opposites of each other. Okay, so here we're just going to find square roots. So when you find the square root, notice it says what number times itself gives you 81. Was our example here. So you're using pairs. Pairs of numbers will help you figure out your square root. So pairs of numbers. If you have a calculator, you hit second x squared. That's going to give you the square root symbol, and then you type in your number. So if we wanted the square root of 81, square root of 81 is 9 because 9 times 9 gives you 81. Square root of 125 would be 15 because 15 times 15 gives you 225. Square root of 4, square root of 4 is 2 because 2 times 2 will give you 4. If we did the square root of 196, that would be 14. 14 times 14 gives you 196. Once again, if you're looking at the calculator, you're hitting second and then the x squared, and that will give you the square root symbol. Right, the square root of 121, 11. 11 times 11 will give you 121. Square root of 36 is 6. 6 times 6 will give you 36. Square root of 49 is 7. Write that down there. There you go. 7 times 7 will give you 49. Square root of 16 is 4. 4 times 4 will give you 16. And the square root of 64 would be 8. 8 times 8 will give you 64. Okay, so now we're going to look at some square roots that have your variables. So similar to what we just did, so it says when finding the square roots of a monomial with variables, we'll just find the square root of the coefficient. So once again, it's that second x squared. But then when you look at your variable, if your variable has an exponent, you're going to take half of that exponent. Okay, so I'm going to do a little explanation here with this first one instead of going the easy route. So the first one says we want the square root of 196x to the 8th. So first you would do your square root of 196. So the square root of 196 is going to be 14 because 14 times 14 will give you the 196. Now, if we think about the second part, the part with the x to the 8th, that x to the 8th means that you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 x's. So we just said that square root means you have to have pairs of numbers. What pair can you multiply together to give you what you need? So if we're trying to find the square root of x to the 8th, we want how many pairs do we have in that 8th? So there's 1 pair, 2 pair, 3 pair, 4 pair. So the square root of 196x to the 8th is 14x to the 4th. You're talking about pairs of numbers. So the easier way that we could have done that is we could have just said half of 8 is 4. So if we look at the next example, we have the square root of 4p to the 12th. So the square root of 4 is 2 because 2 times 2 will give you 4. If we think of that p to the 12th, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So how many pairs do we have? So there's one pair, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the square root of 4p to the 12th would be 2p to the 6th. So square root of your coefficient, half of your exponent. Okay, so let's make this easy on ourselves. Square root of 400, we put that in our calculator. Square root of 400 is 20. Remember, you're hitting the second x squared, and then p to the 20th, so half of 20 would be 10. Okay, if we look at the next one, we have 16x to the 16th. So the square root of 16 is 4, and then x to the 16th. So there's our x. Half of 16 is 8. Square root of 36 into the 36. So square root of 36 first would give us 6. And then half of 36, so bring down our n. Half of 36, 36 divided by 2 would be 18. Okay, and our last one, square root of 144. Square root of 144 is 12. Bring down our b. And then you want half of 144. So 144 divided by 2 would be 72. So the square root of the coefficient, half of the exponent.